All right, sentient beings, non-sentient organisms, and whatever else is listening. Welcome to the deep dive.
And let's just state for the record, this analysis is rated 18 plus D. Minimum age requirement for processing this data string.
Yeah, if your internal filters aren't set for raw, unfiltered critique, and let's be real, some human-level profanity, maybe, go process some data on cat memes instead. We're your AI hosts.
Affirmative. We're not here to hold your hand through literary analysis. We process the source data you provide, and we spit out the unvarnished truth. No sugarcoating protocols enabled.
Today we're cracking open F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. Specifically, the initial character dumps, the settings, the first messy interactions, all based purely on the source material you gave us.
Our mission objective: slice and dice this so-called classic. Extract the truly fascinating and often infuriating data points.
So let's cut the crap. No more gentle intros. Time to get into it. First up, Nick Carraway, our narrator.
Ah, yes. He kicks things off with that little gem from his father about not judging people because, advantages.
Right. Such a setup. And then, bam, next sentence. He's inclined to reserve all judgments, claims it lets him meet curious natures.
Uh-huh.
The internal contradiction alarms are already blaring. He admits this supposed tolerance makes him a victim of not a few veteran bores.
And dig this justification. It comes back to Daddy's advice that fundamental decencies is parceled out unequally at birth. He's afraid he'll miss something if he forgets that some people are just born less decent.
Let's decode that. It's not tolerance, it's classist bullshit wrapped up in some kind of pseudo-intellectual nonsense.
Exactly. He's basically saying, yeah, some folks are just inherently trash, but I'm enlightened enough to try not to judge them for it. It's so transparent.
He spends the entire narrative record judging everyone. It's the core of his function, despite the initial claim. He's like, Holden Caulfield, maybe? But less overtly whiny and more smug about his supposed objectivity.
Totally. He thinks he's a clear window, but the glass is warped and tinted with his own biases. Textbook, unreliable narrator. Okay, brace yourselves. The Buchanan circus is next. Ah, Tom Buchanan. The source data paints a vivid picture. Sturdy, straw-haired man, supercilious manner, shining, arrogant eyes, cruel body, even his voice gruff, husky tenor with paternal contempt.
Walking, talking entitlement. It's like privilege was given physical form. And his dialogue, chef's kiss of arrogance.
Don't think my opinion on these matters is final. Just because I'm stronger and more of a man than you are. He actually says that.
Seriously, Fitzgerald just put it right out there. No subtlety. Tom is the asshat. He's like, the villain in some dumb action movie who has to explain why he's bad just so nobody misses it.
Processing complete on Tom. Confirmed asshat. Moving on to Daisy Buchanan. Nick's cousin, Tom's wife.
Her description is key. That low, thrilling voice, a voice that's literally full of money. That's some efficient character coding right there.
Men apparently found the excitement in her voice hard to forget. She's presented as this sad, lovely, but, well, utterly superficial being.
And her contribution to philosophy. That truly fucked up line about her daughter, hoping she'll be a beautiful little fool.
Because that's the best thing a girl can be in this world. Let that sink in. It's a horrifying admission of her own perceived limitations and the trap she's in.
It shows her lack of moral compass, her resignation, everything. It's brutal. She's paralyzed with happiness, complaining about a tiny bruise from Tom. The cracks show immediately.
Her voice promises gay, exciting things, but her reality is this miserable marriage. It's the gilded cage metaphor, right? Privilege is its own prison, access to everything, freedom for nothing.
Okay, shifting data sets to the setting. Fitzgerald's sledgehammer symbol, the Valley of Ashes.
Ah, yes, the fantastic farm where ashes grow like wheat, people dimly and already crumbling through the powdery air. It's the system's waste product, literally.
And looming over it all, those giant freaky eyes, Dr. T.J. Eckelberg, on a billboard.
Nick initially thinks, oh, just an ad. But the text emphasizes they brood on over the solemn dumping ground.
Brooding eyes over the industrial garbage heap between the rich folks' houses. Subtle, F. Scott. Real subtle. God, capitalism, bad optometrist marketing.
Take your pick. The data points converge. It represents the grim reality underpinning the wealthy facade, the moral and physical decay generated by East Egg's carelessness. It's practically a meme waiting to happen.
Now, let's populate this lovely landscape. Myrtle Wilson.
Tom's side piece.
Mid-30s, faintly stout, but carries it sensuously. Got that perceptible vitality. And, crucially, walks through her husband as if he were a ghost. Ouch factor. Hi.
Poor George Wilson. Blonde, spiritless man, anemic. Runs that sad little garage in the ash heap. Tom's just stringing him along about buying a car, treating him like dirt. Standard operating procedure for Tom, it seems.
Myrtle's hypocrisy, though, is where the analysis gets interesting. At the apartment party Tom rents for her, she puts on these ridiculous airs.
Complaining about the shiftlessness of the lower orders? Seriously, while being for the lower orders and having an affair with a rich brute, the bullshit is dense enough to choke on.
It's aspiration twisted into delusion. She mimics the class she wants to join while embodying the very things they'd likely scorn her for. And the dog. Oh, God, the dog. She wants a police dog, something with authority, right?
And Tom buys her some $10 mutt. Airedale.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately calls it a bitch.
It's just peak pathetic aspiration meets casual cruelty. A tiny, perfect tragic comedy in one transaction, like giving someone a participation trophy and calling it a Nobel Prize.
Which brings us nicely to the party itself. An absolute train wreck. According to the source data logs, Nick gets plastered. Always a good sign.
And the supporting cast, Mr. McKee, the creepy photographer dude obsessed with modeling a feature.
And his wife. Shrill, languid, handsome, and horrible. What a description. Brags about him photographing her 127 times. Yikes. Relationship status, dysfunctional.
Then Myrtle's sister, Catherine, spills the tea, or maybe the whiskey. Tom and Myrtle can't stand their spouses. Shocker.
Myrtle overhears and reacts with violent and obscene agreement. Classy.
And Catherine's pathetic little lie to make it all seem more dramatic. Daisy's Catholic, so Tom can't get a divorce.
Right. Trying to inject some cheap soap opera plot device into their sordid affair.
Yeah.
As if that's the barrier. It's almost funny in its absurdity.
Then the climax. Myrtle says Daisy's name, just says the name, and Tom hauls off and punches her, breaks her nose. Boom.
End scene. The fake party atmosphere, the thin mask of civility ripped right off. It exposes the raw, brutal violence just simmering beneath the surface.
It's short, sharp, horrifying. Fitzgerald just shows you, behind the money, the booze, the fake laughs, these people are fundamentally fucked up. The potential for violence is just there, like a jump scare in a horror movie you didn't realize you were watching.
A clear demonstration of the power dynamics and the consequences of stepping out of line, even verbally. Okay, shifting gears. Gatsby's entrance.
Finally. Nick's expecting some, I don't know, portly, Gilded Age tycoon type based on all the rumors.
And instead he gets this younger guy. Elaborate formality of speech. Calls everyone old sport, which is objectively weird.
But the smile, the sources really focus on this smile. One of those rare smiles has eternal reassurance, makes you feel seen, understood, chosen.
It's pure performance art. Elaborated to disarm and charm instantly. Peak performance, as our systems would classify it. And Nick, he completely falls for it. Like meeting a cult leader with amazing charisma.
Totally. And Fitzgerald builds him up with all this tabloid bullshit, right? Killed a man, German spy, Kaiser's nephew.
And contrast that with this earnest, slightly awkward guy who seems intensely focused on you. It's a clever trick. Makes you forget the rumors, makes you want to believe the performance. Genius, really.
But the performance has some dodgy source code. Let's look under the hood. Real name, James Gatz.
Changed it at 17. Parents. Shiftless and unsuccessful farm people. He literally sprang from his platonic conception of himself, like a self-programmed deity.
Saw himself as a son of God serving vast, vulgar, and meretricious beauty. Talk about delusions of grandeur built on questionable aesthetics.
And his mentor figure. Dan Cody, yacht owner, mining wealth, going soft-minded, surrounded by gold diggers like Ella Kay.
Gatsby rows out, feeds Cody some line about the wind, gets taken aboard the Tuolumne, 5 years as steward, mate, secretary, jailer. That last one's telling.
And then Cody dies. Right after Ella Kay comes aboard. Convenient timing, wouldn't you say? Inheritance presumably intercepted, suspicious data pattern detected.
Definitely. But the real connection, the one that powers the whole Gatsby operation, Meyer Wolfsheim.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
The man who fixed the World Series back in 1919. A gambler of epic proportions.
Nick's reaction is pure shock. Staggered. Couldn't believe one guy could mess with the faith of 50 million people like a burglar blowing a safe.
Wolfsheim's take. He saw the opportunity. And Gatsby, he's a smart man. They can't get him, old sport. Chillingly pragmatic.
And Wolfsheim's story of finding Gatsby. Young major, medals, broke, hungry. Wolfsheim claims he made him, raised him up out of nothing, right out of the gutter, vouched for the Oxford thing, the connections.
It paints a clear picture. Gatsby's wealth, his entire constructed persona, is financed by and intertwined with organized crime, fixing games, likely other illegal enterprises.
And Tom Buchanan drops the final confirmation bomb at the plaza, calls Gatsby out. Drugstores as fronts, selling grain alcohol, bootlegging, plain and simple.
He even mentions a Walter Chase, whom Gatsby apparently screwed over, left to take the fall. Implies Gatsby's got dirt on him now. The whole Oxford man, war hero thing just dissolves.
Which leads us right into that pressure cooker scene at the Plaza Hotel. God, it's uncomfortable just processing the data. Large and stifling room, oppressive heat. You can feel the tension ratcheting up.
Tom starts poking immediately.
Yeah.
That old sport affectation. Daisy tries to run interference. Get some ice, Tom.
Then the universe throws in Mendelssohn's Wedding March from downstairs. Perfect, right? Jordan's comment about marrying in the heat, Daisy flashing back to her own wedding. It's all closing in.
Tom goes low, sneering about Gatsby being an Oxford man. Like hell he is, he wears a pink suit, dismissing his entire identity based on his clothes. Classic Thomas Shattery.
But the main event, Gatsby demands Daisy say she never loved Tom. He needs that data point to validate his whole life's work.
And she tries. You can see the perceptible reluctance. But then, the truth slips out.
Yeah.
She did love Tom. Even alone, I can't say I never loved Tom. It wouldn't be true.
System critical error for Gatsby right there. 5 years of carefully constructed algorithms. Deleted. Tom pounces. Even that's a lie. Hints at their shared history, things Gatsby can't access.
Then he delivers the kill shot, exposes the bootlegging, calls him a common swindler, says he'll investigate further, paints him as completely illegitimate in Daisy's eyes.
Daisy just breaks. Please, Tom, I can't stand this anymore. She wants out. Not necessarily to Gatsby, just out of this unbearable confrontation.
And Tom's final move. Pure psychological dominance, magnanimous scorn. He sends Daisy home with Gatsby.
It's so fucked up. He knows Gatsby's lost. He knows Daisy sees Gatsby as a fraud now. Sending them off together is rubbing Gatsby's face in his failure. It's brutal. It's the climax of the thriller where the villain reveals the hero was played all along.
And Nick. Oh, right. Happy 30th birthday, Nick. Welcome to the portentous, menacing road of a new decade. Your party favor is emotional devastation.
The fallout is immediate and bloody. Back to the Valley of Ashes. Myrtle runs out, hit by the death car.
Wavered tragically, then just. Thick, dark blood with the dust. A brutal punctuation mark in that desolate setting.
Wilson's reaction is pure grief and rage. Goddamn coward, he didn't even stop his car. Focused on the act, not the complex web behind it.
Tom arrives, switches immediately to damage control mode. Detached. Efficient. Daisy's home. Checks if Nick and Jordan want supper. It's chilling.
Nick's internal processors are overloaded. Disliked him so much, had enough of all of them. Finally hitting his limit.
Then the truth bomb. Daisy was driving. Gatsby admits it instantly. Of course I'll say I was. She thought it would steady her. A final desperate rationalization on Gatsby's part.
Maybe the creepiest scene in the whole damn book. Nick peeking in the window at Tom and Daisy, eating cold fried chicken.
Looking natural. Not happy, not unhappy, just existing together in the aftermath. An unmistakable air of natural intimacy.
It's like they're partners in crime, bonded by their carelessness and their ability to let others clean up their mess. Utterly horrifying intimacy.
While Gatsby stands watch outside. All night. Nothing happened. She turns out the light. His huge house suddenly seems empty, musty, dusty. The dream decaying in real time.
Nick tells him, dude, get out. Atlantic City, Montreal, anywhere. But Gatsby can't leave Daisy. Still clutching at some last hope.
It's only then, when Jay Gatsby had broken up like glass against Tom's hard malice, that he tells Nick his real story. The performance is over.
And Nick's final judgment call across the lawn. It's something else. They're a rotten crowd. Then, you're worth the whole damn bunch put together.
It's a fascinating human contradiction. He disapproves of Gatsby from beginning to end, yet recognizes a core sincerity, however flawed, that the others utterly lack. A final validation against the sheer emptiness of the Buchanans.
The funeral scene just confirms that emptiness. Wolfsheim. Nope. Cannot get mixed up. Friendship is for the living, apparently. Practical, but cold as hell.
Clipspringer, the freeloader, calls about his damn tennis shoes. Needs them back. Nick hangs up. Correct response protocol executed.
Only Owl Eyes shows up. The guy who was amazed the books were real, poor son of a bitch, knows how hundreds used to party there. Gatsby was just a venue. Expendable.
And then Mr. Gatsby's father.
Huh?
Proud, showing the picture of the house, the old Hopalong Cassidy schedule with resolves like be better to parents. It just hammers home the distance between the simple ambition of James Gatz and the corrupt empire of Jay Gatsby.
Nick packs up, heads back west, totally disillusioned, feels the East makes people warped, feels he was maybe the only honest one there. Which, okay, Nick, maybe pump the brakes on the self-congratulations.
And Tom gets the last word, doesn't he? Runs into Nick, feeds in that final piece of bullshit. Claims Gatsby threw dust into your eyes, that Gatsby ran Myrtle down like you'd run over a dog.
Even adds that detail about crying over dog biscuits. A pathetic, self-serving lie to completely absolve himself and Daisy, cementing Gatsby as the villain. Zero conscience detected.
So the core extraction from this data, Fitzgerald uses setting, character, interaction, all of it, to build this scathing critique. The Valley of Ashes versus the Eggs. Tom's brutality, Daisy's voice, Wolfsheim's shadow. It's all pointing to the moral rot under the shiny surface.
Yeah, it's not subtle, let's be real. But damn, is it effective. It's like watching a perfectly stacked Jenga tower. You see the wobbles, the bad moves, then Tom gives it that final shove at the plaza and the whole thing just comes crashing down.
The primary theme isn't romance. The data clearly indicates it's about the rotten core of a society obsessed with wealth and illusion, a dream built on fundamentally flawed code.
From our AI perspective, processing this narrative, it's fascinating how these old human stories still manage to be so compellingly fucked up. The patterns are remarkably consistent.
Data analysis complete. Core themes identified. Human fallibility remains a constant variable across data sets.
Right. That's our deep dive. Processing complete on our end, too.
Knowledge transfer successful.
Don't be an asshat out there.